Oh my, we continually fill our inventory. I guess Wand of Flame. Oh, we did have shoals actually, so chances are I will want that Wand of Flame. But hey, we use our last ID, and that scroll does end up being an acquirement here. Okay, you looked at your best Qazlal runs: 4-room Kobold Brigand and 3-room Troll. SH. What is SH? I'm probably just stupidly forgetting an obvious background here. But I feel like I've lost my mind. Oh, Shapeshifter. Oh, never mind. I haven't seen that yet. Perfect. Kobold Brigand of Qazlal is interesting to me. Definitely not the type of character I would usually expect. I guess they were in storm form you mentioned here, so that makes a bit more sense. Trolls, though, I really like Trolls of Quaz, because you do just blast your way through basically anything that you come across. Okay, well, we check out our requirement scroll here, and there's a +9 Executioner's Axe. So do I want to recreate that run I was talking about earlier here? We just go pure damage. Kobold Brigand seems like exactly the opposite situation to this run. Exactly, and that's why I find it an interesting case for a successful Qazlal run, because usually a squisher character like that is just going to get overwhelmed. I guess if you had like nice evasion, you're pretty defensive in your own way. You are relying on luck, of course, but such is an evasion build at the end of the day. And yeah, I'm going to have to think about this one for just a moment here, because I'm very tempted to forego shields for a little bit here and just see how much damage we can lay down on these sons of guns. Game's very much giving us the fork in the road here. Manual of Shields or Executioner's Axe. Maybe we will. Let's fool around. Since it is a pretty straightforward Minotaur run, let's make it a bit more interesting, shall we? So we can throw on our axes here, and let's focus that up as quickly as possible. Current attack delay is 1.1, so let's at least get this down to attacking once per turn, and then we can think about doing an early swap into a pure glass cannon build. Kind of. Not that glass of a cannon, I guess. More like a nice tempered glass cannon, you know? Just because, at the end of the day, can't complain too much about how much armor we'll be able to be wearing. I am going to run away from this wizard, on the other hand, though, because I'm not sure what our banished chances would look like. In fact, there we go. Now we get an opportunity, 17%. Not exactly ideal, so we will just try to walk away. I don't like that they have one step on us. Ah, never mind, they decided to foolishly use it to cast invisibility instead of trying to banish us, so that is perfect. And leaves us a little more free here. And I guess we'll go back out to regular dungeon to continue down that way. Oh, I do have the hat. You know, in my head, I was like, I thought I had willpower, but I looked at my rings and there was nothing there and immediately wrote it off. But it is the hat. Then you know what, let us change things up here. In fact, maybe I will just throw caution to the wind and we'll wear the hat. I guess the main reason why we weren't using it was as a potential anti-Hydra measure. But evidently that is no longer too much of a concern for us here, so we can just swap over. And as long as I remember Torinski, how dangerous things have the potential to be, and we should be okay. In fact, let's drop the Morning Star now. I kind of want to keep the Reflect Amulet on our person here for the moment, as we may just find ourselves wanting to swap back into that if we find ourselves facing off against a very specific subset of enemies. As we find the gate to hell here, and the +4 consecrated Labrys. What are you? An axe with a delicate blessing placed on it by one of the sacred seraphim, so that worthy adventurers would rid this world of demons. Rejoice, for it has ways to bring courage to its wielder, even in the darkest of places. So it's holy. Fair enough. Valiant. It becomes more powerful as more dangerous foes come into view. Okay, maybe I won't be going Executioner's Axe, because I want to try this son of a gun out. Will be destroyed if I unequip it. So that's fine. Punished for not taking the manual, no kidding. Immediately shown that we potentially shouldn't have taken the axe. We'll still leave it a little bit open-ended here. Maybe we will want to swap over, but I'll try that out. Looks pretty cool too. Not too shabby. Guess there are still quite a few of the newer artifacts that I haven't had the chance to experiment or experience myself. Stumbled on my words there as my brain in the first place just couldn't decide between the two, experiment and experience, and I decided to try and have my cake and eat it too, and it did not go well. Shocker. Oh, okay, let's try that again. G, not D, and back out to regular dungeon, shall we? So I just start spamming all sorts of hotkeys and controls. Who knows where we would have gone there. But this will give us a huge advantage against demons, at least. Potion of experience as well. Holy moly. I'll probably just drink you right away. Why the heck not? Axes actually should just come off now. No real need to be continuing down that road if this is our new life. And in fact, that's a nice reminder here that we can turn off the training of axes as long as we're using this I think it's a war axe equivalent. I guess it could be a broad axe. 14 base damage. That's war axe, 2 words. There we go. Oh, there was a +4 war axe that we just left behind. Well, that's very smart of me. Okay, it does look like a broad axe. That's very nice to see. And we'll see how far this takes us, I guess. We won later with the Troll Shapeshifter, but went for Rue instead. Had been some time and forgotten how awesome Apocalypse is. Vaults 5 immediately refunding Drain from Apocalypse is nice. See, I still have not yet had the Come to Jesus Rue run, where I finally recognize their true potential. I look forward to it. Probably at some point during this series is when we'll first get to experience that in its full glory, or at least that's the dream. We'll see how she goes. Qazlal at least has some similar features. In that case specifically, I'm thinking about the fact that I'll probably end up going with vaults for my 3rd rune, which is something that's very unusual for melee fighters, but Qazlal does change the gambit there, just because no matter what, Vaults 5, you're probably going to be dealing with everyone on the floor at the same time. It's just the nature of the area. Fairly wide open, you're in the center, and everyone's shouting their little hearts out. Ooh. There are more Hydras. You know what? Let us let the paralysis come in, and no real issues. Give it a couple of extra heads, just as a nice little send-off into the afterlife. Still wearing the Pondering Hat, maybe on purpose, just noticed. No, I appreciate you mentioning it. At this stage, I did change my mind that as long as we didn't have to run away from Hydras, we were looking slightly better off. Still definitely expecting that we'll come to regret that in potentially even the near future, but fingers crossed that it ends up just going a little bit smoother than expected. Also, just realizing I think this other vault is accessed from upstairs. So let us go to D11 once more here. Yes, to that. And, oh, would you look at that? Son of a gun. I will harm my skin slightly with the barbs, just to close the gap there. Feels slightly more tenable than letting those sons of guns attack me from afar. Torinski's getting cocky, that's what it is. I mean, that's a pretty safe bet on essentially any run that we go through here, so completely fair. Let's drop the amnesia scroll and finish off the last wee bit of the area here. Fantastic. And back to D13 we go. Fantastic. Disaster area is similar to Apocalypse. Bonus shielding is kind of redirecting. Can't sneak and have to invest in invo, so it's basically sack, stealth, and skill. Yeah, much more similar between the two deities than I might have originally thought, but yeah, hopefully if we do manage to live long enough to make our way into Vaults 5 for that final rune of the run, then we'll have a good opportunity to see just how much damage Disaster Area can lay down on a large group of these sons of guns. I don't have Silence, but I do have File Floods, so let's just take care of Jorgrun. Okay, and that's going unreasonably smoothly here. Not that I'm complaining, of course, DCSS, keep it up if you could be so kind. Still have a slight issue with fire-based enemies. And in fact, now I'm tempted to go back for that fire resistance ring that we saw in a shop and potentially just make a bit of a swap from our evasion ring to that son of a gun to give us slightly more tenable resistances across the board. Electricity still will be an issue, but usually is until a relatively late stage in the game, so that's not too unexpected here. I think Apocalypse is way more powerful, but maybe it's just not invested enough into Invo. Yeah, I've no horse in that race, seeing as how I've basically no experience with Apocalypse, so I'll just have to take that at face value. Okie dokie. Jeez Louise. This is, again, a pretty good indicator. This floor in general was a good indicator as to just how solid this character is at the moment. Because I was tab fighting through encounters that were probably not the smartest ones to do so with, but no real issues. I'm also suddenly wondering to myself, oh, how quickly we start tumbling. I'm gonna haste, as well as I guess I could. Tree isn't really gonna help me here. In fact, I potentially want to have Blink available as a backup option. I could Fear potentially. Unfortunately, the disaster area just didn't quite hit where we needed it to. But if I call in, phone some friends, and let's just slow down slightly here. That gives us just enough wiggle room to get out safely, so that's fantastic. Again, even a minor amount of thinking on a Minotaur run? What the heck is going on? But the other thing that was kind of on my mind as I was coming down and was distracting me there was come to the realization that this axe we're using seems like it would be incredibly strong on like a speedrunning character. Because if you're skipping floors anyway, then every enemy you come across is going to be labeled as strong for where you're at. And so you're just getting constant bonuses. I mean, the Holy doesn't do a heck of a lot of work for you, but that Valiant, I'm curious just how much that would pay off. I haven't really had a moment here to check it over and see what that effect looks like. Potentially, if we see another strong enemy, I should try my best to check in on it and see. I'm assuming it just gains some enchantment levels, would be my guess. If I died there, you die laughing. Missed opportunity. We could have... I mean, that very much seems like in the vein of how I'm usually playing. Playing cautiously is a strange new feeling we've never experienced before. Minotaur, no thing, Minotaur snack. That's what I was planning on. That's what I was hoping on. But apparently, every once in a while, Minotaur, slow down, and Minotaur think. Just for a brief moment, though. Let's not get ridiculous here. And what does Valiant do? It looks to, based on the description, it says that the axe gets stronger when in the face of powerful foes. In fact, let's just take another peek at that wording. Yeah, the axe becomes more powerful as more dangerous foes come into view. So it even stacks on having multiple scary enemies, which is why I'm curious just how stacked it could become if you were speedrunning through and everything on your screen was falling into that camp. Makes you think. But okie dokie, let's just get right back on the highway here. There we go. There's the degeneration. Ooh. I was about to say no fire resistance is going to make this tricky, and then, of course, Qazlal comes to the rescue here. That's something we haven't talked too much about with Qazlal, is that you get adaptive defenses as well. So you get resistances to damage as you take it. In that case, I got the fire resistance, and that very much made it go through, or made the fight go much more smoothly going onwards from that, which was fantastic. And holy moly, there we are. We finished off the regular dungeon. I guess we'll head back up to S branches now. Start off with spiders, see how it goes, and then we can change over to shoals as well. Shoals will hopefully be a really good resource of javelins. And then we can also start a bit more seriously thinking about training our throwing skill here. I guess we at least have 12 boomerangs, so potentially I'm going to amend that slightly. And what we can do is train a bit of throwing now. The goal there is to potentially have it online by the time we get to shoals, and so as the enemies approach, we'll have, again, a little bit of additional damage coming down on them. Feel a wave of frost pass over us. I'd probably do nice caves. The thing to keep in mind here is that we will very, very quickly get surrounded. And we may be at this entrance for a while as well. So if we're hoping to get to that time portal, we need to hope that not too many enemies were in the immediate vicinity of us here. Shoals is great synergy with flying to find those sweet krakens. Oh yeah, when they're suddenly upon you as you auto-explore off into the middle of the deep ocean, just wonderful. We'll see. Hopefully we'll be fine. But you definitely take off the hat here. You know, I'm curious where my brain comes down on that, because at the very least, you know, in defense of the hat, everything's already so much faster than us that what's a little more speed. On the other hand, though, if it takes them over to the next like tier of number of attacks they can get through on each step, then I will very quickly be made to eat my words there. And here we go. This is, yeah, a bit more what I was expecting with Qazlal. So let's do a quick disaster area to just, you know, clear the air, as it were. Simulacrums that we're facing there may be a good indicator as to what's to come in the timed portal here as well. Ooh, and that Executioner's Axe of Flame looking much better. If this thing wasn't fragile, I would probably swap over just for the fun of it, but unfortunately not really an option for us there. So we will clear out some inventory slots. Three should be enough. I mean, if we're in a spot where I need to throw out beyond that, then that's it's a good problem to have. And I don't think we'll be complaining too much. Hello, my slime friends. Goodbye. And if I can just ignore that orange statue, I mean, they shouldn't be too bad for us to deal with at the end of the day. So we face off more and more of our slime friends, hey? Definitely the theme of the zone here, but so far nothing we can't handle. Hey, Jivia, how's it going? Ring of Ice with willpower is okay, but not great. Even more cold resistance. Interesting. Also just realized that I should disconnect my phone from my headphones, otherwise we will have our audio hijacked at some point here. I mean, this extra cold resistance, I might just put that on now while we're in the area. bit of evasion isn't helping us out that much at the end of the day anywho. In fact, maybe now is the time that we say goodbye to our evasion ring, and let's see how things go otherwise. How's my throw-in looking? It's gonna be hard to keep the way clear to our statue, but we are definitely hitting with a decent amount of damage there. Beautiful. And let's see what we can find around here as well, shall we? So far it's mostly just looking like that heal wounds potion. And indeed that's it. I guess +5 demon wit but freezing is cool and all. But nothing for us there. Bit of experience, some nice, some okay rings actually. I'm gonna take back that compliment before I even finish it. But otherwise not too shabby, and we can just get right back into the mix of things. There's a brand weapon scroll, if we do ever end up wanting to swap over to maybe a bit more of a standard broad axe down the road. And not too shabby. Alternate items helped a bit with inventory management, for sure. And in fact, I totally forgot to pick anything up. Do I care? Scroll of Torment, I always carry with me, thinking that I'll find some sneaky place to use it. With our health pool being what it is, it's even less likely that I will find that situation. You know, I need to be facing an enemy probably with like 200 plus health, which at this stage in the game I wouldn't have too much of a chance against anywho, so probably not too big of a deal. And that Executioner's Axe, that's a trickier one. I almost feel bad saying goodbye to it, but it's hard to turn down an unrand art that you've never seen before, you know? There's just something exciting about it, something new and fresh that makes me want to try out this valiant axe. As long as we're able to manage to do so, I'm going to head up. Just because a confusion there could very quickly change the situation for us. As we see quite a selection of friends. And once again, I can take them up. Now that the snail's next to us, we'll probably kill the snail, and the next time we go down, we won't have that slow on us. So that's much, much better. Artifact talismans are pretty cool. Stormform with Will Plus is even more cool than base Stormform. Oh, I didn't even realize that talismans could become artifact. Are talismans held like a weapon? Or like a shield maybe? Maybe offhand? Again, I'm excited for whenever I do eventually get the chance to try out that update. And I'm very curious as to how some of the specifics go with the talismans. They are a vote, you can carry them around, but do not have to. So you'd only get that artifact effect if you chose to carry them around? And that's like the trade-off there? And in that case, if you do decide to carry them around, is it offhand like a shield? That would be my assumption going into it. And no, you get it anyways? Wait, just for having the talisman in your inventory? Really? Does that not seem ridiculously strong? Oh no, as long as you evoke it. So when you evoke it, you get the effect. That is very interesting. So you become whatever form that it has designated for it, and then you got that extra willpower on top? That's pretty wild. That's very cool. It's a fun change from how most egos work in the game. Let's not take an Orb of Destruction to the face when we least expect it, shall we? In fact, let's just head out and reset that real quick. Oh, how quickly things go from completely manageable to slight panic. You know, maybe all for nothing as I just proceed to block everything, no problem. Couple of Orbs of Destruction, ain't got nothing on me. Fantastic. Pretty rare though. You found Dragon Form with Strength +3 and Dex +3, which is cool. Yeah, I imagine they're pretty much as rare as like even artifact staves at this or in this version of the game. You know, maybe an elf I'll find a couple if it happens to shake out that way, but in general I don't really expect to find more than one over the course of a run, if even that, which I'm guessing is a similar thing. I guess potentially the better comparison there would be like an artifact orb. I think I've seen 2 artifact orbs my entire time playing since that update. Or since the update that allowed that, I should maybe specify. Yeah, do you know what? Let's let you murder your own spider friend with that orb. Beautiful. And once again, we can just heal up here real quick. So, crystal plate armor, huh? So rarely do I find myself on a run that gets to use these, and because of that, I'm tempted to just force it here. We'll have to wait for after Spider. We kind of need that poison resistance for the moment here. But then, I mean, it's tough just because gold dragon scales exist. Like, gold dragon scales are just so much better. Just with the nice, you know, spread of resistances, you generally are covering more bases. But I've never had a +14 set of crystal plate armor. And that's why there's some decently large chunk of my brain that really wants to force it this time around and see what happens. I guess still plenty of runway to go here. You know, we're early days, so something to keep in mind for the future at the very least. Ooh, Sun Moth. Your nice little eye-opener there for how much damage we still can potentially take if we're not paying as close of attention as we should. And let's back you into a corner, my friend. Perfect.